Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Aska, where you, the audience, get to ask questions of somebody you may not be able to interact with on a day-to-day basis. It's a place to grow, learn, understand for everyone, and that's the glue. Hey, I'm one of your hosts, Big Irish Jay Hollingsworth.
Sound like Donahue.
I know.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night. You stay classy, San Diego. I was about to say I'm Big Irish Jay. I'm Kev on stage, and this I am Big Irish Kev. I'm Kev on stage, and this is Ask a Suicide Survivor. I'm Kev on stage, and this is Ask Suicide.
We're keeping all of these.
I know. I'm Kev on stage, and I'm Slim Shady. I'm Kev on stage, and this is Ask a Suicide Survivor with Demetrius Harmon, formerly known as Meech on Mars. Clap it up for him, studio audience.
Thanks,
First
everybody.
question, Meech, Demetrius Harmon. You changed your name from Meech on Mars to Demetrius Harmon. Why?
Do I look at the camera? Do I look at y'all?
No, we just talking to us. So
Oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying? All right,
This is just a conversation. It's just in case you guys know, this is Ask a Suicide Survivor. Do not expect a dreary, oh my God, what you did, son, how you hurt yourself. This is just a conversation. We don't feel like crying.
Yeah.
It's like 11 o'clock. I don't feel like crying.
Plus,
I got other stuff to do today.
He survived.
He's here. He's still standing. He's still strong like Derek Luke. If you don't know about me, let me give you a little introduction.
It's about to be
He's very funny. He's a comedian. I found out about him following him on Twitter. His videos were viral all the time. Very funny. Work with him at ADD. He's hilarious. He's young. You're 20 now?
Yeah.
He was 19 at the time when I met him. And I was like, fam, you outside? It's dark outside. What are you doing?
Dang.
So I was a fan first. He has this dope line of merch called You Matter, which will be sold out all the time. He has a big platform about mental health and awareness. He models. He's from Detroit. He dyes his hair often, but he's hilarious. So anyway.
There was like a delay with me like doing things as you spoke.
So tell us why you went from Meech on Mars to Demetrius Harmon.
So I made Meech on Mars like I've been doing social media like this stuff since 8th grade.
Yeah, I saw your video with Lo when you guys were like super young
you hear
and
the voices?
scrawny, and
Yeah.
I was like, y'all are babies out here. It was like 4 hours. I think you said it took y'all to make this video, and I was like,
we
dang.
kept laughing, but that was the first video. But like I made it a long time ago, and it was like just like a identity. Like,
Yeah.
Because I didn't like my name a long time ago. Like
Demetrius?
Yeah, because it was like Meech was the cool one. Like Meech is like
Yeah,
cool
Big Meech.
persona. Like not even that, but
Oh,
like,
just Meech.
yeah, just
got
my
it,
name
got it,
Meech. Because like
got
say like
it.
my brothers, my mom, my family, they call me Meech, and I was like,
Got it.
Someone's comfortable with me. Demetrius always felt like, oh, you're in trouble.
Yeah, that's
like-
the black thing.
Well, I hated Jay. My government name is Jason, and I always go by Jay. I always thought Jason was just so bland and like ordinary, and
Yeah.
Jay was like unique.
When I was young, when I was in 3rd grade, my mom told me she almost named me Justin. So for 6 months, I just changed my name to Justin. Like I just started
Really?
writing it on all my papers in 3rd grade, and my teacher finally was like, "Fam, you can't do that.
I can't just say it.
You just can't do that. And you're confusing me. Like, stop." But I was
looking
like,
at
Justin is better. But Justin is equally as plain, is equally plain and boring as Kevin.
Yeah, I was gonna go with Shabazz.
But just on stage would have been fire.
Just on
Stage would have been lit. My mom
just on
told
stage
me,
with Tamir
Oh,
Tamir Moore.
Yes, my mom missed a great branding opportunity by naming
You
me
can
Kevin.
change your name still, dog.
It's too late. And the worst part about it, true story, I was like, Mom, how'd you come up with my name? You know, like, what was your thought process? She's like, oh, I heard it on a soap opera. The guy was like, Kevin Allen. She's like, oh, that's a cool name. And then she named me that. And I was like, that's the offhand naming story. What if that show wasn't on? She was like, I don't know what I would have named you. And that just made me sad.
Well,
But
that's
anyway.
faith though.
Yeah.
yeah.
But no, I changed it like as I was doing stuff. I just felt like I was being limited. You know, like it's weird, like coming from. Like I've always done these things, like poetry and like I can draw. I can draw portraits.
Really?
I'm an artist first, but before anything, like that's always what I wanted to do. Like I feel like because my brother used to do portraits, and I was like, I want to be like him, so I just learned how to draw. You know what I'm saying? Probably if I kept doing it, I could be better at it. But like, I always knew myself that I'm bigger than this box that everyone tries to keep me in.
Yeah.
And I
Were they
feel like-
keeping you in because you were comedy or because of the name?
I feel like because it was comedy, but I feel like the name you only identified.
Oh, synonymous with comedy.
Yeah.
Got it.
Now, when
Got
you
it.
said that you felt like the name was limiting you, in what sense?
Just in a sense of like anyone that tries to do anything outside of what you want them to do, people just be like, no, go back to doing that. Like when, you know, like when Vine stars, like they may have always loved to do music, like wanted to make music, and now they have this platform of 2 million followers. It's like, why wouldn't I do the thing I really want to do?
And the internet be
and
like,
they're like,
nah,
no, you make them videos.
give me the
now.
same thing you did. Whenever I first saw you, give me that thing forever.
100%.
Don't you dare try and do what you like. This is my internet.
You mean it like limited you in the sense that you had already kind of blown up off the name Meech on Mars.
Yeah.
That it limited you in the sense that if you're trying to branch out, people are like, I know Meech on Mars as this thing that does these things, so you can't go that. It wasn't like the name, like people saw the name Meech and was like, oh, that name.
Oh no, not
it was,
at all.
It was you, but I mean, it's kind of a compliment to you though. You established yourself and blew up on this and got so big off this. You're like, all right, I'm going to pivot now so you guys can see what else I can do.
But I know that takes a lot of thought too,
Yeah.
because people know you and people
At 20.
tagged you, and like you had millions right by then.
Yeah.
And people are like, bro, don't change your name. Your verification status can change.
Yeah.
And you still did that. Like, what was the final thing where you like, I don't care about none of
so
that?
the final thing, literally, like, because I've been thinking about wanting to change my name since I like made the name, but I was like, I blew up already.
Right.
Like I'm talking about like when I was like 17, I'm like, I can't change. Like, what would I change it to?
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to change it to Demetrius Hartman because that's just my name. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
didn't see any specialness in it. But then like I got an email from like some company that wanted to book me, like a TV show wanted to book me, and they put Dear Meech on, like Meech on, without the bars. They thought that was my real name, and I'm like, these people don't even know. They don't know who I am. So I'm like, okay, let me change my name. But also like I thought about like,
Mr. Mars.
I'm like, what, you think it's my real name?
You
But
get a
then-
check, Meech on Mars. Like,
Can't cast this. People think my name is Kevon, and some people thought my last name was On Stage. And I was like, that doesn't even make sense.
But it's the fact that it was a company, like,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
By the way, I got the dope company name for you, but you already have it, right? You have a company name, right?
Yeah.
It should be Chaos. Kev on Stage Studios. KOSS. Chaos. What? Come on.
That's good.
That
That's
go
good.
hard, I ain't gonna hold you. That
That's
dude go
good.
hard.
You wanted to hate on it, but
No,
then you're
I
like,
did. I was, in my head was like, yeah, Kev, just shut up and take it.
Chaos.
Good. That's good.
Somebody's gonna take it now when they see
Nah,
this.
you can have it.
I thought about like all these, since I consider myself an artist.
Yeah.
I thought about like all of these artists that we know, like Leonardo DiCaprio, not DiCaprio, Leonardo da Vinci. You know what I'm saying?
DiCaprio's an artist. though?
DiCaprio too, but like just like when you see art, you know their name.
Yes.
And I'm like, no, you don't know my name. That was like the last reference. I'm like, you don't know my name. I do all this stuff, and you don't even know who I am.
That's true, because I didn't know Meech was short for Demetrius.
Exactly.
And I had followed you for a good long while. And when you changed your name, I was like, who? And where's Meech? Oh, this is Meech. What happened? You know what I mean? Like, that's interesting that, like, it's kind of like Marlo in The Wire. Like, my name is my name.
Yeah.
Like, I really need to stick. I actually have my name on Twitter as Kevin Fredericks. But then people were getting fired for their tweets, and I was like, I cannot. I need this job. Like, so let me change to something else. But I also wish I would have just been Kevin Fredericks. Like, I really wish that would have. I wish I didn't have Kev on Stage, because it's kind of weird to be called a Kev on Stage when people see you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind, because at least it has, like, my nickname is Kev.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it is weird to be like, hey, Kev on Stage. The on stage is like, bro, that's not my name.
So they call you the full. They don't just say Kev.
Kev on Stage.
Yeah, and I went
Like,
with,
that is my name to them. My first name to them is Kev on Stage.
and what kind of the reason you I went with Big Irish J instead of Jay Hollingsworth, because like, you know, an intro, somebody, you know, what's your name? And you're like Jay Hollingsworth, and then they bring you up and they say Jay Hollingsworth or Jay Hollandworth or Jay, and people can't figure out the name spelling on the website. So I was like, just go Big Irish J.
Yeah,
you know, it's
yeah.
easy. You know,
So I noticed you do a lot of everything.
Yeah.
Right? And the internet does not like that.
Yeah.
Like, you make videos, and then sometimes you're like, I'm not finna make no videos for a while. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Or the You Matter hoodies are coming back. But you know what I mean? So and you have, like, not only a lot of fans, you have crazy engaged fans. Not crazy in the bad sense. I mean, like, they engage with you, like, on Twitter, it'd be insane. I saw you had a meetup, and then it was like, people was going push it and crazy, and I was just like, oh my God, that's like Justin Bieber type, like, you know, pandemonium. So how do you still do what you want when you know people are just gonna be like, make those videos with Dope Island, make that thing I like now, I want more.
It's hard because, like, say, like, I recently did, like, these Valentine's Day hoodies. And, like, everyone wanted these.
Yeah.
But I have been working on those Valentine's Day hoodies for, like, 4 months.
Right.
The beginning of January and, like, towards the end of December was, like, really hard for me because, like, I lost my uncle last year around the same time. So it was just like a hard,
Got it.
and then holidays is hard, you know,
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But I still like pushed through. I'm like, they need to get this.
Right.
And then like when I dropped them, it was like, it was so many people like, I love it, and then it was some people like, I don't care what this is, I want this. And it's like,
right.
and they're like, I don't like this ugly design. It's a, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it hurts, but then like, I don't know, I pushed through somehow, like, cause it's just like at the end of the day, like I'm doing it for me.
Right.
And I think about like, it was really hard though, like realistically, and I've been just trying to like sugarcoat it. Like, I like cried, like I was like crying like this whole weekend. I was like crying because I'm like, I'm used to everything I do being so welcome and so loved that it's like, these are the same people. Like my biggest fear, and like I'm in my head a lot, is like, I've seen people turn on people, like the fans turn on people for less.
Yes.
And it's like, as much as I want to believe it's different for me, it's scary that almost happened. And not the fact that it almost happened, it was just like the way they were going about it, you know what I'm saying? So I try to be as open with them about like how that stuff makes me feel, so they can understand how like that I'm not just an idea, like I'm an actual person with feelings.
You read these comments.
Yeah, I read all of them.
Like you try not to, but some I tell my like I delete some, like just because I'll like ponder over it, right? Or I'll go back and forth with people.
Block.
But bro, I block people, and they don't even mean no harm. They like, because I was on ADD, and ADD is famous for roasting. People think that's how you like approach us. Like, bro, first of all, these are my boys.
Yeah.
Right. And this is an hour long thing I do once a week for a
Mind
couple
you, I
months.
would never be on roast me.
Right. Right.
Way too sensitive. I'm way too sensitive.
So I'm sensitive too.
I can roast, but it's like,
Then they hit you with a couple in a row. And it's just
we
like,
have to scrap. Like that's,
Or they say something that you're like, wait, my eyebrows? I
Bruh.
never even knew my eyebrows. What?
So fans just randomly tweet me, yo, your head look like a milk dud, and I just be like, bro, I don't want to hear that right now. You know what I mean? Like, so I just block them, and I know they're just like, dang, Kev, I thought that's what. Nah.
And you know my rule.
What?
I like on my
you gotta have
YouTube
a profile
videos.
picture?
I'm like, you can say whatever you want. You can say my comedy's dumb. You can call me fat, whatever, as long as you have a profile set up.
Yeah.
If you don't have a profile set up, then I'll just delete it and block you. But if you have a profile, then cool, because then I can go back at you.
Yeah.
And I will.
So like, it's interesting, Meech. You're young, you're black, you're 20, which feels like
crazy.
so long
I'm
ago.
about to turn 21. March
Shout out
1st.
to you. Very mature for. I mean, at 20, I was like, anyway, that's for another day. But you said like you are the reason I wanted you on wasn't just to talk about suicide, and we'll get to that. It's because you use your platform to talk about mental health, and mental health in the black community is we're just turning the corner on. It's okay for us to talk about it, seek therapy. It's probably just you and Charlamagne are probably the only two people who have like really large platforms.
Kanye.
Kanye, but I think the difference between Kanye and Meech and Charlamagne is Kanye kind of weaponizes mental health in some ways. You know what I mean? Like, or I don't know. I don't feel like he's talking about it in a healthy way the way
Gotcha.
Meech is.
Fair enough.
So, but it's more in a healthy way. Like, it's okay for us to do this, blah, blah, blah. And you admitted on camera that you cried over the weekend, right? And I was telling my wife in a podcast in real life, like, it's hard for me to admit these things to her. You know, I be crying. You know what I mean? As I've gotten older, I feel like I've been crying more. Like, there was a time when there was like one summer, a summer or two ago, there was like black men getting killed in like by police, like one after another. It was just, so I was driving to a show by myself in Seattle. Bro, I just broke down crying at a red light. Like, just started, I mean, like shaking. For like, and I couldn't even drive. And I was like, yo, what is going on with me? Like, that stuff, all those images just started to like, you know what I mean? You consume on the internet, and it just started like, I don't know, it was like the end of Black Klansman when you just show all that stuff and it just keeps playing in your head. But I don't talk to anybody about that. I called my wife and I was like, bro, I was tripping. You know what I mean? I didn't know it was wrong. But I never put that on the internet because I want people to be like, I'm strong, blah, blah, blah. So how have you come around to the idea of talking about mental health like openly on the internet, where the internet has been known to be very vile and like use your not weakness, but your sensitivities against you?
It's hard because like, say like bring it back to like the thing with the release. I was like, probably like, I think like 3 hours before, I was just really anxious. And like, that was when I was dealing with the most, like reading just every comment, like, and like the people I'm with,
right?
It's like they're noticing that I'm just so disengaged from what we're doing, like in the present. I'm just scrolling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just scrolling.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they're like, delete Twitter. So I delete Twitter, but then like when they see me scrolling again, they think I'm on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
it's
right.
to that point of like,
Yeah.
where they're like, they know how much is on my mind. Like I posted on Instagram, like I'm I was being honest, like I'm scared that like something I put so much work into, like people don't care for. Like,
Right.
Not saying you like you don't have to like I understand the value of someone's money. Like it's
Yeah.
never just about that. It's
Right,
just,
right.
Notice how much work has gone into this.
Right.
Notice how
'Cause
much.
this is dope, but it's a very simple design.
Yeah, it's very simple, and that's not what I want to do for the rest. Like,
yeah, by the way, I bought the Valentine stuff because I bought everything Meech has bought before I even knew you.
Yeah.
Like the first things were sold out forever, and then I started like things were available. I was like, let me get on these early. But I appreciate the work in the design and just craftsmanship and what you've been doing. But how did you like? It's kind of interesting, like you because of who you are and you have this big platform. It's like the best and worst of
the internet.
yeah, it's like you have this platform about mental health, but then you also have to deal with this negativity to do your job, so to speak. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like if you had mental health issues and you work in accounting or you work at a bank, you don't have to deal with the masses of the internet. You can be like, man, bro, I'm social media. They're tripping, delete it, and that wouldn't affect your.
Yeah.
But you almost
weird.
have
It's
to
weird.
post.
It's weird because it's like I'll take breaks, and then when I'm taking a break, I'm just sitting there like, they're gonna forget about me.
Right.
And I get really anxious. And then when I can't think of a video idea, I'm like, I'm about to cuss.
No,
but, but just like thinking like that.
Josh will cut it out.
Yeah.
just thinking like in that sense of like, I have to be visible, but I'm dealing with something that makes me want to be invisible.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a very hard concept to grasp. But then it's like even say like when I was posting, I'm being vulnerable, I'm being open. Like someone was like, I feel like he's being very emotionally manipulative because he's saying, like just the way I posted it, like she was saying, like me making it seem like I'm anxious about it is like trying to guilt trip people into like buying, and I'm like, no, I don't care about that.
You really just are expressing your feelings.
I'm just expressing it so you guys understand, like, because I can't think of any artist that just, like, say like when Kid Cudi drops new music, you know what I'm saying? He's very vulnerable with the things he's talking about, but like I don't think of artists has ever just posted like I'm scared you guys not gonna like this new music.
Right.
Like I'm genuinely terrified that the people I have this outreach and they want this one specific thing from me, but I want to do something new, something that's true to myself.
Right.
And you guys won't like it, so I might have to conform back to what you guys just want from me.
Well, I love that. Go ahead, Jay.
Oh, I was just gonna say, who?
I don't love that. I was gonna say something else. I didn't want to end it there. Like I love that. Like,
And then we just cut it, and then that goes on. Yeah, Kev. Whoa. Somebody that kind of did this, and it was before he really blew up, was Donald Glover. I don't know if do you remember that?
No, listen.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you something. I love like my name change, like just the way I view myself, and like I always go back to like that. But then you're talking about the notes he wrote, right?
Yeah, when he was like alone in his hotel, and he was like, "I'm scared," and like he wrote. I don't know. Did you ever read it?
I wish.
Dude,
I
it was
wanted to
like
join in
it's
on
like
the
4 of
conversation.
them.
yeah, and as a comic, I'm reading this. I'm like, me too, man.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
dude, you're speaking for everybody. But yeah, you, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No,
but,
I interrupted you.
No, but yeah, Donald Glover.
He did. You forgot.
Yeah, Donald Glover. Like, I don't know if he was on the road doing shows or what, but basically he was. I think he was in his hotel room by himself, and he posted like 4 posts, and it was just him just being so transparent and open about his feelings. He's like, I don't remember everything about the note. I just remember it was stuff like, do I even matter what I'm doing? I fear, like, I think he had something to the effect of like, I fear that I'm going to be forgotten, and like,
Right.
none of this is mattering. What do you remember about
Yeah, I
it?
remember him posting. He was saying, I fear like that, like just everything, like him fearing of him being there for his family, him fearing like it was a bunch of random.
Yeah.
It was a bunch of random shit. He was like, I fear I too much, like stuff like that. But in the midst of it, it was just like an open letter, and like that was when he was dropping because of the internet, and like he wrote like I'm scared my show won't do what it would be, which turned out to be Atlanta.
Yeah.
Just like, but the honesty about
Right.
the fear, because I feel like we put this idea around celebrities that they're just supposed to their idea,
Bro,
so they don't have emotion. They're robots.
Did you grow up? It's nearly impossible, but did you grow up thinking my life will be dependent on the internet?
No.
So, like, okay, take LeBron James, right? He's 10 or 11 years old. He's the best basketball player every time. He probably has an idea, I'm going to go to the NBA. This is how life's going to be.
Yeah.
And you're also, when there's a path like that, there's training like that.
Yeah.
You got to do this. This is how you talk to the media. for this, there's no preparation for having millions of people talk to you every day and go crazy about whatever you ask.
So true.
You know what I mean? There's no preparation for that.
And that's not anything we dealt with
no,
like growing
no.
up.
It's
Yeah.
all new. It's like
It's all
We would
brand
have
new.
one or two offs of somebody being a bully, let's say, you
Yeah.
know, and you know, and you handle it however you handle it. But the idea that hundreds of thousands at any point could be bullying you is
Well,
pretty
think
crazy.
about Lil Uzi. You remind me of this when you're saying your fans turn on you. Like, his fans want a new album so much that they are turning against him. Like, they're turning their fandom against him because he hasn't released an album. Like, they released an album like 2 years ago or something like
Yeah.
that. When I was coming up, people released an album like, it could be
Yeah.
5 years. You didn't expect them to release an album every year, every other year like that. You were just like, oh man, it's album time. Like, Rihanna's fans are like, new music, new music, new music. She's like, bro, I want to do something else. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that does weigh on you when somebody, it's like a constant voice. Like, you talk about disappearing. Like, I make a video most of the time once a day, or at least 5 times a week. And sometimes I feel like I got nothing funny to say, and I don't even know if I am funny anymore. I got to go on tour. Like, I don't know if this stuff's going to be funny. And I feel like if I don't post a video for 2 days, like, all this stuff I've done will be gone.
Yeah, 'cause
like, for 2 days.
with the internet is where we just consume and consume and consume. It's always
Yeah.
something new. Like, you feel me? Like, and that's why I feel like some issues don't get handled because they get not they get swept under the rug, but it's like a new thing. You know what I'm saying?
Always.
There's a new Twitter moment. There's a lot of just different things going on. So it's like
Right.
it just feels like a. You ever seen Split?
Oh yeah.
It feel like trying to keep the light.
Yes.
Haha.
That was a great analogy
yeah.
for that.
That's great.
That was like spot on for that. So I want to talk about, like, obviously one doesn't go, you know, doesn't wake up one morning like, hey man, I want to kill myself. I don't want to be here anymore. But it's a like, what is the process like for you, or what happened that would you say that kind of got you on that road where those thoughts start to become more prevalent?
So my cousin committed suicide when I was in 4th grade, and then
In the 4th grade?
when I was in 4th grade, my cousin was an adult.
Gotcha.
But just me being in 4th grade, I'm like,
Yeah.
that was the first death I ever deal with.
Dang.
Ever.
Oh, snap.
So I'm like, huh?
Dang.
And this is like he wasn't my like he was I wasn't like a prevalent person in my life in the sense of things, but I saw him every day because he picked me up from school.
Got it.
So then it's just like, oh yeah, he's gone. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
after that, in 5th grade, I started becoming close to my godmom. And then my godmom was murdered.
Oh my
Jeez.
God.
So then I think in 7th grade, my grandfather passed away. So it's just like
And you're very young.
Yeah.
7th grade.
What's
My
the-
son's in 7th grade. He's 12. So this all happened from like 8 to 12.
yeah.
That's crazy. So your grandfather passing away, which is usually how all of us deal with like our first interaction with death, is somebody expiring.
Yeah.
You know, their old age. Like
Yeah.
mine was my great grandmother.
Mine was my great grandma too.
But you were already 2 deaths in that somebody's life was cut short,
Yeah.
and one was at his own hands, that's crazy. I can't even imagine like trying to process that being 4.
I don't think I ever did process it. Like I think I didn't speak about it too much just because it's like I think because I told myself like I wasn't too close to him that I don't have a right to feel away, but like in a sense it's like he has a daughter that's my cousin as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I feel like the grieve and that hurt goes to her. So I feel like I had to be strong for her. Just like it was just like a thing where I'm just like
Even at 4.
no, I was in 4th grade.
Oh,
So I was
4th
probably
grade.
like
Sorry.
like 9,
Oh,
8?
but still,
Yeah, 8 or 9.
Yeah, but even that young, like I was just going to school. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like I'm just going through the motions of life. I don't expect
Dang.
anyone like you were saying, like the thought of death is like expiration, not. He was like 27, 28. You know, he was in his 20s, 30s. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he wasn't. That was unexpected. And then when my godmom being taken, you know, it's like someone taking their own life and someone being taken. And then the other one was when my grandfather passed away. It was like how we think death is. But even with that, it was like he could have been alive. It was just an error at the hospital, like a
my
nurse.
God.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like the thought of life. I was like.
Yeah.
Like how you were saying, like, does any of this matter?
Yeah.
And I'm so young going through that, and like it felt like, with me being a kid dealing with death,
Yeah.
and then there's all these adults who are like I think as a kid your emotions aren't so complex. We don't have all these walls built up, so it was just like, someone died, I missed them, and I can't have them.
Right.
That's not fair.
Yes.
And then with adults, it's like they already understand how life works, and they're
Yes.
giving me these things, but they're not talking to me and helping me understand it. So
like
I'm
speaking in euphemisms,
Yeah.
as opposed to like whatever,
like compared to talking to me like how I would understand it as being a child.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like I think when we talk to children about like death, we underestimate like how they feel.
Right. And their
like, just
ability,
their
to
ability to
understand
understand
concepts.
things,
Yeah. So one thing that we saw a lot in the questions that I thought was interesting is this idea that when people commit suicide, they are being selfish, right? And other people feel like when you are thinking about suicide, you feel like you're helping those around you, right? Like, I'm not going to be a burden on them, and they'll be better off without me. Where do you what were your thought, or was that even a thought that you had?
I think because around the time it was like 9th grade, you feel me? Like that was around the time of like, I just felt like nobody was paying. Like I didn't feel like I mattered. You know what I'm saying? I felt invisible. So it was like, even if I do this, y'all won't notice.
Right.
Really?
Like it won't be really much of a difference in
Yeah.
y'all actual lives. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going through stuff, and it's so like to me, it's so blatantly obvious the stuff I'm going through, even if I'm not speaking. Because back then, I feel like it was harder to be open about the stuff because nobody was being open about it.
Right.
Now it's still kind of hard to talk to your parents about it, but you see people like me, you see people like
Yeah.
we're a lot more open about it because we have the social media to where like you can find people that are going through the same stuff and shit.
Right.
But, like 9th grade year and like all before that, I just felt alone because my family wasn't talking about it, and then if I did talk about my emotions, it was like I'm just being emotional. Or,
That's what people told you?
yeah,
You would just get shut down. if
Yeah.
you were,
yeah,
interesting.
and then like I was saying, with me being a kid, 9th grade, 8th grade, I'm still a kid. I'm not understanding what I'm going through. I'm just trying to talk to y'all about it, and y'all are supposed to help me make sense of things. I need help.
Right.
So like I don't think I ever thought in the sense of like I did think sometimes like I was a burden, like cuz like I'm a picky eater. No, that's stupid. But like just like the stress that my parents would have, like that I would feel like my dad had to keep a roof over my head. Like things that parents would throw in your face to like this is what I'm doing for you. To me, I'm like, well, without me being here, then all right, maybe your life.
Kev's
will
like-
Hold on. No, for real though. Because my youngest son is a super picky eater, and we give him crap about it.
yeah.
Like crap. Like I'm like growing up the way we grew up with barely anything. You didn't have choices.
Yeah.
This is for dinner. Eat it. Don't eat it. Get a whoop and go to bed.
Can't leave the table
How-
till you clean your plate.
Can't leave
Yeah.
the table till you clean your plate. This is the way why I'm built the way I am. It's my
Yeah.
childhood.
I always felt like I was an issue because I'm like, I genuinely just don't like these things. Like I'm like they don't like my mom made scalloped potatoes like the cheese,
Yeah.
and like I couldn't finish eating it. She's like, you gonna eat it or you're not leaving the table. And I'm like, Ma, I can't. Like I literally cannot. eat this.
Right.
And I threw up. And she got mad because I threw up.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, I don't know what you want me from me.
I am your mom though. Like I wish you would throw up this stuff. I spent $1.19 box of scalloped potatoes, but I would be the same way. Oh my God, am I harming my son?
You might be.
We're gonna stop this interview right now. After school and be like,
Call him. I love you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because the thing about parenthood, is for the most part, your natural inclination is to raise the kids the way you were raised.
Yeah.
And you don't want to really hear nothing else because like if it worked for me, it works for you.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, in some ways, it didn't really work for us.
Yeah.
Like we be getting jacked up from the way we were raised and stuff like that. And now I'm all in my head. I'm gonna talk to them later.
I don't think parents look at like what's wrong with them though.
The children.
Enough. No, like what's wrong with you? Like
Like, me as a
Even
parent.
say how you're like, I don't talk to my wife about the fact that I might be crying about something.
Yeah.
I don't think like.
Hold on, Meech. This is about you, bro. Don't. Because if I start crying on your episode and it ain't even about you, I'm
And if
gonna
I
be
see
mad.
a guy cry, that just makes me cry. I'm gonna be like, we're just, oh man.
But you're right. So my youngest son, and then we'll continue your story. He can make himself cry.
Yeah.
Right. He's super young. So he did this video called JoJo Can Cry on Cue, and he just sat there like for like 45 seconds, minute, and then next thing you know, he's full out crying. Right. So I'm like impressed and like terrified. So I'm like, yo, how did you do that? Like after the camera went off, I'm like, yo, how did you do that? And he just said, I thought about how sad my life is.
Oh,
And I was like, what do you even mean? You know what I mean? Because as a parent, you
Take
think,
offense.
I took big offense, but more not upset, but like confused.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you have, not crazy big, but you have a nice house, you have your games, you have
Compared to
food,
what you came up with.
compared to what
Yeah,
I grew up
right.
with. And here's the other thing about kids that I actually do understand: they didn't grow up with us,
Right.
So they can't compare. Their
only
life
have this to
as
go off of.
my childhood. They only have what their life is.
And their problems we didn't have to deal with.
And every parent in the world
yeah.
was harder. My generation was harder, and y'all have it easier.
Right.
But I was so confused, and I was so like, and I think the things kids don't understand or adults don't understand. When you have kids, you don't even be knowing what you're doing. You just be having kids.
Yeah.
Like I took more tests and training to put burger patties in Burger King than to raise a child. They just handed me this child at the hospital. I was like, fam, how do you even know I know what I'm doing? I don't. I can't even put him in the car seat, much less raise him. But anyway, I wanted to get back to this idea of like your parents not understanding. A lot of people were asking like, you said it was blatantly obvious to you. What do you think were some of the signs, if any, that you feel like your family missed that were obvious or should have been obvious?
Well, just like imagine like me being how I am now. Like I think if you think of the person I am now, I'm very colorful. Like it's vibrant energy. I just was dull. I would come home, I'd go to sleep. I wouldn't talk to anyone. I'd barely eat. Like these are my entire like personality change. You know?
Right. So you were vibrant prior to this stuff.
Yeah, like prior to all of the things, like say like I want to say it hit like a spearhead. I placed it with 9th grade because that was like new school, new people,
Yeah.
family issues. Like so, it's so much chaos, and then it's just me in the middle of it, slipping through the cracks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so like I think if just anyone was willing to have a conversation with me about like what I was going through, what I was like dealing with,
Yeah.
like just how any of the situations like going on in the family like made me feel, I think like we could have got somewhere. But like I don't want to. I feel like saying that when people take that, they take it as like you could have just said something, but it's like it's so hard to when it's like you don't want to be too emotional. You
Right.
don't want to be. You don't want to be met with doubt about something that you're so vulnerable with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The other thing too is
No, I
like
get
everything
that.
in society, like you look at TV shows and everything, and the teenager is moody. Like that's
Yeah.
like the script, you know.
Yeah.
He's just he has an attitude or whatever, and it's not trying to understand. Well, what's the cause of that? Why are
Right.
you like? It's just like you just write it off as like that's just a kid being a kid.
Teenage angst, yeah.
Yeah. And that's another thing. So would you say that you dealt with depression prior to these suicidal thoughts?
I would say I did, but like I don't know if it was as because I want to say it hit like a spearhead like 9th grade year, and then that's when like I think that's when I like I not identified it, but I was like I spoke it aloud. Like I was like, okay, maybe I'm dealing with something like a lot worse. But I was also diagnosed with it in 8th grade, like with anxiety and depression
How were you diagnosed with it?
from my doctor.
I mean, was this something that you initiated asking your doctor, or your parents were like, something seems like it's wrong and we need to have you talk to?
I initiated with my parents because like it really was the anxiety because like I had like my heart like would just be racing and I'm like I can't like do things.
Yeah.
I'm very fidgety. My hands are shaky. Like, but no, I was just talking to my parents like about because there's a lot of stuff going on. Like my dad and my brother got into it, so like I wasn't seeing my niece and my nephew, and like I was really like they were really involved in my life at the time. Like I've been there since they were born, so like just like change and like that dynamic. I was really anxious about everything. I was really anxious about like what I was gonna do after high school. I mean after middle school and like how life would be and just like where the dynamic of our family was going to because my family is like the pillar of my life. Like,
Right.
That's what keeps me up. So
Right.
it was like for that to be falling, I'm like, what's happening? You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I always have been in my head about a lot of things, but I think that like it peaked around that time. So then we like went to the doctor and he was telling me, he was like, hey, you have like mild anxiety, and he gave me Ativan, stuff like that, and like diagnosed me with the things and diagnosed me with hypoglycemia because I wasn't eating. So, then my blood sugar was really low, and then like just like a lot of different things. But it came from me like talking to my parents about what I was going through. But like at the time, I didn't even know depression was a thing. Like I didn't know what that concept was.
When the doctor said you have mild anxiety, well, first was your reaction like mild, but like this is
Hold
mild.
on,
Yeah.
respect my anxiety.
But with him like giving this thing a name that you didn't know what it was, did you get like, even if it was for temporary, like a little bit of a relief?
Yeah,
Did you? Yeah.
because it was like before it's just like I'm just going through something. What am I going through?
Right.
And like how he was saying, like, you know, you have a kid. It's like you don't even know how to deal with that. There's no rule, but there's no instructions.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, you have anxiety. So it's like, okay, maybe you should do these things, and I can go through a list of things that could possibly help compared to before. I'm just dealing.
Yeah, and do you feel like did you have any conversation with I know you said your parents didn't notice, right? Did you have any conversation with your friends? You feel like they noticed, or did you feel like nobody knew what was going on?
I talked to like friends like probably like in middle school, you know, because like I feel like a lot of people, like a lot of like my friends, that like came to me because they secretly self-harmed. So I not taught them off the ledge, but like I taught them out of a lot of different situations. But like even in that, like my idea of how to help someone wasn't like, let's relate and let me tell you that I go through the same things. It was like, I should be the strong one for you and tell you that there's other ways.
Got
like,
it.
Even though inside I'm like, I'm right there with you. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting because you were their rock, and then you probably in a sense felt like, well, I can't really talk to them about my problems because I'm trying to be the rock for them.
Yeah, because then it's like seeing your mom break down.
Yeah.
It's like she's the strongest person you know. So then it's like
that
is there hope for being strong,
dude? Or I saw my dad cry once, and I was like, oh my God, dude, that really.
I saw my dad cry one time.
Yeah,
his dad had died, and it was like it didn't faze him at all. You know what I mean? Like he presented that.
Yeah. And then it catches up.
Bro, we were driving to church, pulling up to the church, and he just started bawling. I was like, oh, I felt like my eyes almost fell out.
Dude,
I was crying so hard.
Yeah.
It was just waterworks. But that's the only time I ever seen my dad cry.
And mine was my stepmother had passed away. She had a brain tumor, and like I was on my way moving down here. I stopped in Portland to see my pops, and you know, I'm talking to him, and he's showing me like my stepmom, before she passed away, she wrote out a list of like all the bills and when they need to be paid each month. But on the list, she wrote like, you know, now honey, make sure you pay this first. And I always told my dad, I'm like, you're looking at this every month?
Yeah.
I'm like, let me type a new one out for your son. And then he was on the couch, and he's like, you know, I'm so sorry, and starts breaking down. And I'm like, oh God, man. I'm like, Dad, what? Oh gosh. You know, that's, that messes you up. But, excuse me. So you're saying you in 8th grade, it actually was in 8th grade that stuff was you were starting to feel certain ways, so to speak. And then going into 9th grade, that's it's so crazy to me, because I think about what was I doing at 8th or 9th grade, but I also didn't in 4th grade deal with a suicide and then a murder after that.
Well, the thing is, what's interesting is teen suicide rates are up in America seemingly all the time, and your friends were also dealing with other stuff, and they didn't have the same issues. You know, they didn't have the same exact issues as you did. Do you feel like it was? Well, what I wanted to ask you was, do you feel like did you deal with that at all yourself?
What, self-harming?
Yeah.
Yeah, I self-harmed.
Was that before you talked to your friends, or did you like hear from them and think maybe this will?
It was probably before. Yeah, it was before.
So how old were you then?
I was still in 8th grade.
So 8th grade was tough for you, man.
8th grade was a lot, man. But like say like even to speak on like how you were saying like that they didn't deal with like the things I deal with. It's like, you know, coming from where I come from, these are young Detroit kids, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like they're dealing with things that, you know, like maybe seeing like I don't know the exact stories of people I'm thinking of, but just like to give you a picture, like, you know, like they have family members that, you know what I'm saying, or like their house may not be as knit, so like there's possibility of molestation, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or just even like we think so far ahead in the future, and it's like you're in this bucket of that city, and there's so much darkness. It's like, how do I make it out of this? You know what I'm saying? Like I always knew I could make it out just because it's like I know the talents I have, but there's people where it's like
that might not be so readily apparent.
I'm not in school. Or life comes at you so fast, and then when you're looking at the 8th grade, you're like, I'm about to get into high school. You know, they put so much pressure on high school.
Oh my gosh!
So
I was talking to my boy from college, and I was like, you remember in high school how you felt like that your whole life was that moment. Then you graduate, and sometimes you never see half those people ever again. But at that time you're dealing with it, middle school too, like that's your whole world. And I feel like social media now, that's like, you know, just compounds that feeling. You know what I mean? So yes, I remember feeling like, man, what if this person thinks of me and blah blah blah, or this girl dumped me and they made fun of me or whatever, and it's just like that just compounds and compounds, and you don't feel like, man, in 5 years, literally none of this. In 5 months, sometimes literally none of this will matter at all. I wanted to talk about self-harm a minute before we move on. What was the thought that said, I'm going to hurt myself? And what did you think that was going to bring you?
I think I blamed myself for like not blame myself, but like all of the things I was dealing with was in my head.
Right.
Like, so it's like I'm the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's like it wasn't like I wanted to hurt myself, but I needed something, like some release of it getting out. Like in my mind, like when I was doing that, it was like there's some physical something, like relief of what I'm going through. Like I can look at it and see this is what it's doing to me.
You know what's interesting is you saying in your mind you're kind of blaming yourself, in a sense, is like mentally self-harming.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you feel like it was mental before physical?
Yeah, I feel like it's always mental, because it's like you have to deal with your mind before you deal with anything else.
So when you, if you don't mind me asking, what was your like thing? Were you like cutting yourself? Were you like?
Yeah, I cut myself, but I you can't see it anymore. I started growing a beard till I cover it, but it's like also like with my skin changing. I burn myself a lot
On your face?
Yeah.
So, ouch! I want to, that's like, pain. I don't know what to say, Jay. This is very new to me.
I know.
It's tense in here.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's just the beauty of it, the intensity, and you just, first of all, ouch.
Yeah, that feels like looks painful. You know what I mean? So, or it seems like it'd be painful. So the first time you did that, did you think, like, finally, like, I feel like at least all this pain is like transferred into like a physical pain and therefore not a mental pain? And did that seem like okay, this might not be healthy, but this is at least something?
Yeah, I would say like a part of it was like that, but I feel like how you were saying, like that's what I needed. Like it's like physical pain, like the mental pain. Like it's so hard to understand that you're mentally going through something, like
right,
that you're mentally like hurting.
Like I'm trying to understand that, and I can get pieces of it,
yeah.
But since I haven't done it,
yeah.
So it's hard to understand. You know what I mean? It's hard to understand. So I'm trying to imagine yourself at 13 years old, like. Your parents don't understand it. You don't understand it. It's not common in the community. It's not like alcoholism or drug abuse. Like that is something we see people deal with. There's doctors for this, blah, blah, blah. But this is an internal thing. And especially compounded by your people, like living around people and they're not noticing you. I can see how that now can just make you feel like, man, I just, if your parents didn't even notice that you hurt yourself or you have a burn on your face. Like,
my dad noticed that I had a burn on my face. I remember him like grabbing me out, like, who hurting you? And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I don't even remember what I said was the like what I said as an excuse. But it's like, what realistically, why do I have a burn on my face? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, like realistically, what can excuse that? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's blood. It's a burn to where like you can see, like it had to heal. Like it was like red, like not red, but it was like the skin was gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like to that, and like, but like at a point, I didn't want to self-harm anymore. But then it just became like substance abuse.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like then like 9th grade year, like I was saying, like it was, I don't feel like they noticed enough difference with me because like I was just out all the time, and when I come home I'm sluggish. And I was drinking lean. I'm smoking
9th
weed.
grade?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because like the school I went to was such a advanced school just in that sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's where the kids are. You know what I'm saying? Like just that type of crab in a bucket. Type of thing, you know what I'm saying? So the first time I smoked, first time I had sex, like all of those things were 9th grade year.
Bro, you had 8th and 9th grade, you had 5 lives.
Dude.
I have yet to drink lean.
I have yet to complete 9th grade.
Shut up.
No, I want to just, you were saying you're trying to wrap your head around. I am too. You were talking about mentally, you kind of blamed yourself for a lot of things.
Yeah, I still do.
Okay, so I was wondering, I may be totally off on this, but it's to try and understand, was the self-harming thing in a sense where I blame myself, so, when you do something wrong, you should be punished. What's a way to punish myself? Self-hurt, and now I can see it now. Now I see the punishment. I've been punished for what I've done wrong? Or am I totally off? I don't know.
I wouldn't say you're off, but I would say, like, who, like, I felt I deserve it, but it's like, who could I hurt? Besides myself, like I feel like I was hurting. I needed like something to show it, like to some like I needed a
interesting.
Release.
That makes
because they can't see the pain, inside your head.
Yeah,
but you can be like, okay, kind of like cause and effect. Like everybody, you should be noticing this cut I've done, and asking questions. You know, I'm trying to give you, maybe it was a way of kind of in a sense like reaching out, or
Yeah,
like,
it was. I feel like I don't feel like I did it consciously in a sense of like, this is me crying out for
Right.
help. But I know when I was doing it, it was like,
a cry for help.
yeah, it was like a release. You know, it was literally like when you see the blood pouring, it's like, like it's something. It makes sense. Like being able to physically see something compared to like I'm just dealing with these things and I'm and I can't get out of bed, and if I tell someone I just can't get out of my mind, they're like, what? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like physically being able to see some type of like wound or seeing something that it was doing to myself. You know, I feel like me cutting helped me stop. Help me take myself more seriously. Like help take the things I'm doing more seriously, because like I could see it. You know, like compared to like in my mind, I'm just thinking these things. I'm making these things up.
Right.
Compared to like when it's physically there, I'm like, I see the proof. I see that
there's evidence.
something's wrong. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But
And you mentioned going to, you said it was a doctor. Was it a therapist or a doctor when you
I went
found out?
to an actual like doctor, like physician, but that was like because I was concerned about like because I was fainting, and so that goes into like the hypoglycemia,
Right.
Because I wasn't eating. But then I actually did go to like a therapist, like a family therapist, not for a year.
And that was one of the questions if you are in therapy still.
No, I'm not in therapy still, but I literally just sent the text where I was like, I want to go to a therapist.
Yeah.
Really?
No, 100%.
To get over this show, you're like this.
That's that's so dope, because I've been thinking about therapy for myself. Like, so a lot of people don't know this, but I grew up with a stepdad, and I was telling my wife this like the other like for real. Meech, I can still call you Meech as like Meech.
Meech is my name.
All right, because I don't want to be like, yeah, it's Demetrius, and I told you, and you slam the microphones over and stuff. But I was telling my wife, so I have my real father I didn't meet until I was like 12 or 13 years old, right? So my wife is like, man, you never really talk about that, and I'm like, nope, and I will not. Thank you, bye. You know what I mean? Like, and I just compressed that down. You know what I mean? Because I feel like, a lot of people grew up without a dad, but then they didn't have a dad at all. You know what I mean? So I feel like because I had a stepdad who like took that place, I don't have the right to complain about not having a relationship with my real father.
Yeah.
And I also feel like if you just don't deal with that, you just like smash it down and push it away over there, it'll go away. But then it doesn't. You know what I mean? So I'm imagining if I didn't have that other thing, like how much more that thought would be in my head. Like, because I'm like, was it something I did? Why didn't he like me? Why did was it something my mom did? And I kind of blame myself for it. So my wife was like, you should go talk to a therapist about that. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to. But I realize now talking to you, like some of those thoughts, if you don't deal with them, they could manifest in ways you might not even be understanding.
And you don't realize is that's causing those like manifestations.
Right. Yeah.
It's a trip, like what happens in our childhood, how much the ripple effect from it. It's just
Absolutely.
crazy. And like there's certain things that I recognize how I react towards, like even with dating, like my relationship with my mom versus my grandmother, which I think I've told you before. Like,
no.
Oh well, like
don't
Kev,
put that on me.
Yeah, Kev knows like I have a preference for women of color. I guess
do.
We'll say
he likes the black women.
My grandmother was black. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like my grandmother was like dark hair, dark brown eyes, and she was like my hero. And then my mom was like blonde haired, blue eyes. And I have stuff like growing up with friction with my mom, which I won't get into on this. But
why not?
Well, because it's not.
We're
about
getting
me.
all into
So-
Meech's life. He's been sharing.
That's the
freely.
point. Shut up.
Okay, well, for example, like my mom used to.
No, I really don't want to know.
Okay. This might have been my cry for help, and you just shut it down. Thanks. No, but I always say that I wonder if that plays a part in why I love like women with I love brown eyes. I love darker features, darker hair, and everything. And I've never been into like the blonde haired, blue eyed type. Usually,
Same. I love me some black women.
Yeah, me too. Same. I've never been.
We should just end it right there. No, I'm just kidding.
So I wanted to know, like, so the interesting thing to me is you're very young now, but you were even younger then, and you kind of allude to this, but do you feel like because you were young that it was unnoticed more because you're just like a kid, man, he's just blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
So tell us, like, walk us through so you say you started with self-harm, you graduated, so to speak, to substance abuse.
Graduated.
Right? Like, we off that. We on lean now.
Oh man.
So when was substance abuse not enough And when did those suicidal thoughts start to be like, this might be the release that I'm looking for?
I think it was always like suicidal thoughts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's always been suicide. Like I always wanted to die. Like from self-harm, it was always like I wanted to like kill myself.
Wait.
Yeah.
When you say always, like what's the age as far back as you remember?
I want to say since I started doing since I started self-harming, like it was like always a thought in the back of my mind, like I could kill myself right now.
Dang.
But like, I think a problem that I have and that a lot of people who are suicidal and self-harm is like Tupac has this thing, and I tweeted it a long time ago. I never like had it in words.
Right.
It was like he said I was, in quote, I was just all around suicidal, but like I couldn't kill myself. I just wanted somebody to kill me for me. You know what I'm saying?
God.
So like,
yeah.
So sometimes like when we driving, I'm just like, a car could hit us right now as we going through this yellow light, and it ain't possible. You know what I'm saying? Or sometimes like when I'm driving, I just take like long blinks, and I'm just like, and I breathe, and like, you know what I'm saying? Or like
now or before?
Now too.
Meech, I want to help you.
I mean, I'm good now because I understand it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it, like,
But you're still
You still
doing
have those
it.
thoughts, or you still doing those things?
Oh no, I mean, I'm not doing those things, but like,
Oh, okay.
I at the worst of times, it's like that.
Dang.
And so at the worst of times, that's when like I have to be vocal, because if I don't get it out, it eats me alive.
Now, because when I was growing up, I had a fear of death.
I might cry in this. I've been holding it, a lot of these thoughts in.
If you go, I'm going.
If I cry on this, I don't care what y'all say. Cause it's welling up now.
But say, look,
I got hands.
even just now, like, you know what I'm saying, when I'm telling you, and then you like, is that now or back then? It's like I lied to you. I'm like, no, it's not now, but it is. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, naturally, I feel like people who deal with these things, we want to protect the people who lives we're in, because we don't want pity, we don't want to like change, we just want to be honest, and we just want to talk about things we're going through.
Right.
And it's so like if you like, that's why I was like no, and I was like no, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just because it's like that's where it comes from. Like I need you to 100% understand like the state of mind I could possibly be in. You know what I'm saying? To the 100th degree. You know what I'm saying? But like it's just so hard to have that. You know what I'm saying?
I actually get that. I think more than before our conversation, I actually get like, I don't even want to bother you with that. You know what I mean? Like we cool, but we aren't close friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't talk every single day. You know what I'm saying? We DM here and there. So I can understand how, like, if feelings were reversed, I'd be like, man, I don't really want to put that on Meech if I'm going through that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what he'll think of me, you know, or whatever. But I actually don't think I've ever thought about that part of it, of like, I'm cool. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of pressure, and I think social media plays into this, at least, like, to put forth this, I am good at all times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel great. I'm happy, and this, like, people don't often talk about, like, man, you have, you know, sometimes you're like, guys, I ain't really feeling these videos. You know, I'll be back later. You know, like, you've even done that, but people be afraid to let people know, like, we don't even want to take a picture with, like, when I don't have no haircut, I ain't really a selfie type of guy. I don't got a selfie face, but you know what I mean? I don't.
Face, body, whatever.
I don't got selfie nothing. I ain't gonna hold you. But you know, like, when I have a haircut, shut up. You bald. It still grows. But you know, just little things like that. That's not a huge thing, but you feel like I want to put forth this vision of myself,
your best version,
my best.
That's
version
all
of myself.
social media is.
And it's
Usually,
bro. And the thing is, life is not like that all the time.
Let me tell you something, dog. I woke up. I knew I had this at like 11. I knew the car was coming at 11. I'm like, I woke up at like 7. I just laid in bed. I got a gravity blanket, you know, like the weighted blanket. I got one of those. I just was laying there, and I was like, I do not, like, today is not my day right now. Like, I don't feel it.
Yeah.
So like, you ain't got the hoodie on. I'm like, but I just threw a shirt on, threw a hoodie. I ain't comb my beard.
Right.
But like, that's honest. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I try to be that all the time. I just try to be honest with myself, because it's weird. Like, you ever go, like, I don't like fakeness. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm like, say if I go to like an LA party and like everything's scripted and it's like it's made to seem real and it's just like stuff like that, I'll be like, so when things feel fake, that's when I like don't like it, and it irks me so much that I can't be anything but genuine.
What's crazy to me is when you were like, I think back about when I was your age when this was happening, and I was afraid of death. Like, I would think about death and I would cry, you know, just thinking like, what does it mean? Like, what happens and this and that. And so to be like where you're almost have an excitement with the idea, like, oh, I could kill myself here, or if I died, like I don't know, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I don't know if it was like a thing that you're like almost had like I look forward to that thing. But like I have a good buddy of mine that has attempted suicide, and we were talking one time, me, him, and another buddy, and he was talking about how like he has suicidal thoughts all the time still. He's in a better place now, and he was saying like, haven't you ever thought about that? And I was like, no. And then my other buddy had also, and they both were looking at me like I was crazy for not either. Like I was like, I want to be one of the cool kids.
You know what's funny though? As you say that, actually, Meech, what you said has come into my mind, right? And I can't say it's like starts off with suicide, but even this year, like I always have this thought of like, because I'm this big gregarious personality. I got wife, got kids, people who love me, right? But sometimes you don't feel like that. So I've often had, right? So I've had the thought of like, I want to just disappear.
That's Uzi right now.
Right. I don't want to hurt myself. I just want to be gone for 3 days, right? Leave my phone wherever, take $1,000 and check into a hotel or fly somewhere, check into a hotel, nobody knows where I am. And then I want to see how the people around me react. Like, am I going to be, you know what I mean? Like how my wife reacts, how my brother, how my friends, how people who follow me react, just to see if people care about me for me as opposed to me for what I,
It's that Wonderful Life.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's one of my favorite movies. And I think
Christmas movie.
Word.
Where basically a guy is about to kill himself and an angel appears and shows him what would the world be like.
I feel like I've seen that. Is it?
It's old.
Who's
George? I don't know his real name. George Strait, I think is
Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart might be. I'm lying. I don't know who it is. I think it's just a dude from A Wonderful Life.
I don't watch.
It's my grandma's favorite.
That's one of my favorites too. But
you interrupted my thing to say that.
Wait, I wanted to speak on. It wasn't like excitement for death, but it was just like a readiness, I suppose. Like it was like, you know, like a tiredness of life. You know, you wake up and it's.
When you wake up, do you just feel like a burden?
It was a wake up and it was like, I'm up. You know what I'm saying?
Like another day I got to deal with.
Another day where I got to deal with life.
Crazy.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like that still, you know. Sometimes it's like that where like I wake up and I can't get out of bed because it's like getting out of bed makes it real. Getting out of bed makes life real. You know
what's interesting? So they always say like people like Robin, like comedians, right, are some of the most tortured people, right? And when you are making a video, it takes a certain energy to do, because there'd be so many days I'd be like, fam, I do not have video energy today. I just don't. I just want to not. And I have to push myself to do it because I, like we were talking about, I feel like if I don't do it, somebody gonna jump and be like, I'm Kevin on stage now. I'm like, hey man, that's my stuff.
Like, fuck it,
I was giving away $1 million if you just retweet.
And I gotta work a regular job. You're like, so so how do you go from, or if you do, how do you go from waking up feeling like I don't got it today to making those videos and then seeing people's reaction to your like comedic greatness, which I would just call it, the way your mind works. The first thing you're doing right now, the first time this happened, first person with twins, it's art. We feel like comedy is art anyway.
Yeah.
Some of the hardest art to perform. But it's just like nobody, even people copy you, they can't even do what you do. But you sometimes start these days at that low point, and I'm sure some of those days you push through to make a video or something. How do you get your mind from that place to performance, Meech?
Well, like performance music is just me, you know what I'm saying? Like those videos, like, and I live with my best friend, so it's like that plays a big part into it, because like he'd come in my room and he'd just talk to me, and then that's just like he don't even be, sometimes I'm going through stuff, but like sometimes he say he can feel it, like, you know what I'm saying? Usually when he just in his room and like say like we just had like a long conversation, we was joking, laughing, I go back in my room, he can feel when something's wrong. But like he brings me out of it a lot of times, but just even in the videos, like it's like that's just me on good days, you know what I'm saying? So if I'm having a bad day, I just be like, wait, let's not film. Like say today, like before I left out to come here, I was we were talking about like filming a video, but then I was like, I don't really feel good today. You know what I'm saying? I don't really feel like
you told him this?
Yeah, I don't really feel like I want to film. You know what I'm saying? Because like I just don't want to not put my best foot forward.
Right.
I just want to take a rest today. You know what I'm saying? Like So days when it starts at really low points, and like it's really, really low, you know what I'm saying? I just take a step back because I feel like I deserve that. You know, I feel like I feel like I've earned a
One
break.
would agree that you deserve to do whatever you want to do on any given day. The internet will make you feel like you don't deserve that, though. Like this job you have is very peculiar in that way, where people will make you feel like you don't deserve to have that day. But I'm glad we as a community are working towards self-care.
I thought you were talking about the comedy community.
Black
Guess
community.
not. I got you.
You stay over there.
I got it.
We as
Once
the
you
blacks,
put the hand
we
up.
as the blacks are starting to work through self-care and stuff like that. So I want to go back to the day, right? Walk us through how that day starts and to the point where you're like, I'm about to try to kill myself.
Like that specific day.
Yeah.
I think I've suppressed it so much that I don't even like know. I just
About
remember-
that day at all?
Yeah,
Wow.
Really?
yeah. Like it's weird because like
No, that actually makes a lot more sense than as much sense as remembering it vividly.
yeah,
I feel like your brain, have you heard that your brain can compress trauma? So you don't like think about it. Your brain will just like people get raped or have something traumatic happen. Their brain just basically puts it in a box and locks it away.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that's what happened to that day?
yeah. I feel like that's happened to a lot of things because like I have a really good memory. Like I can remember like things from like when I was like 3, and like it sounds crazy until like I'll tell my mom like I remember this and this and this and this and this, and she'll be like, "Well, I was like in 2001, you were 3." You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
First
but
of all,
Yes, 2001, 3. That's what you're tripping off of, right? Yeah. Oh, man.
what?
Oh.
I was born in 1998.
Oh, interview over.
So old.
What are you even doing outside by yourself? You got in a car with a strange man.
Shut up, dog.
Now you have stuff all on your head.
My head is like Velcro.
Yeah.
It's everywhere too. But no, like
Dude.
I think
I'm not gonna be able to finish this interview.
Shut
You
up.
were born in the year our Lord and Savior 1998.
but yeah, like there was something like me and my dad had like an issue. Like one time, like my dad like really went overboard with like whooping me, and it like f***ed me up.
Yeah.
And he told like we talked about it like when I finally could remember it, because I didn't remember it till someone said it,
Oh snap.
and I was like, because like I think I did like I don't remember that day. My dad was like, "Yeah, I took you out to Chili's and I talked to you about it." I'm like, I don't remember any of that. Like at all. Like I don't remember the whole thing. But now I do, but it came back in a sense of like flashes.
Right.
Like just slowly, and like I had to talk to my mom. Like my mom said I was like calling her, like, and then when she said it, like I could hear it. You know what I'm saying? But like
Dang.
since this was like I think since my like attempt, which I wanted to do through overdose, because like it was really hard for me to like actually like do it.
Yeah.
But I just remember waking up.
So nobody knew, like they didn't, because like in the movies and TV, somebody always catches you and
Right.
they call 911 and you get your stomach pumped. Nobody even found you.
No.
You just woke up.
Yeah.
Dang.
And like I threw up like out of like
Your body just rejected all.
yeah, it rejected
pills.
everything, but like no one found me. Like no one knew about it at all.
Now, when you woke up, was your first feeling, I mean, I'm sure that you were a little dizzy or whatever, but was your first feeling like sad that it didn't take, or was it a revelation like maybe I have a purpose, maybe, there's a plan for me, and then that's why it didn't take? Or what was your thoughts when you...
It wasn't any thoughts at all. I just went to sleep.
Really?
Like I think like around the time when I wanted to do it, I felt like a failure. And I was like, I can't even commit suicide.
Are you serious? That's...
Yeah, like
Jeez.
like,
That actually makes sense
Dang.
though. In a strange way, that actually, with the thought process you've been telling us about, that makes sense. To feel like I can't even do this right.
yeah, and it's like I'm very critical of myself, and like even now, like I just live in my head, like everything, like I haven't thought about everything, like you know what I'm saying, like and like I think of every single possible like like outcome and reaction, and just like I'm very like in my head, so like I'm also very critical of myself with everything, you know what I'm saying, like I'm learning to like speak better to myself and speak kinder to myself and stuff like that. But like on the worst days, it's you're an idiot, like things like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's the detrimental things I say to myself that really like get to me.
Right.
But I feel like those detrimental things I say to myself is like out of fear of that's what people think of me. You know what I'm saying?
So you repeat that back to yourself.
Yeah.
So, and it's interesting that it's a daily. It's not something where you have you're thinking a certain way. You see a therapist, and then one day, oh, it's fixed. It's a daily thing that you work on daily.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's literally like going to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Interesting.
It's like if I don't work on it one day, then it becomes weaker. You know what I'm saying? If I don't focus and realize, like, you know, if I have a bad day at the gym or, you know what I'm saying, things like that.
Yeah.
Like, there's gonna be days where
That's a great analogy. No, I
That's a
get it.
fantastic analogy.
Analogies
I
are my
only
thing.
going to the gym.
Analogies are my thing.
I see.
Cause like I was telling my dad, like my dad was having problems like with my grandma because they just moved in together and like trying to like understand her. And I'm like, there's a language for everything. You know what I'm saying? There's a way, like love languages. You know what I'm saying? There's a way that someone may perceive love compared to like how you may perceive it. But that doesn't mean you just give up on that person. You learn their love language and you speak to them in the language that they understand.
You should be on the Love Hour podcast. That's what me and my wife be talking about. That because if you're not speaking love to someone the way they perceive it as love,
Yeah.
then it's not helpful.
It's not gonna understand, yeah. And so, like,
and then you're frustrated because they're
they're
not reacting
frustrated.
right, and then they're frustrated because they don't receive it that way,
Yeah.
and then around and around we go, and it's not helpful for either party.
yeah. So analogies for me make sense because it's like I can take such a complex idea and take something I feel like everyone understands and then put it into that.
Yeah.
So that's why the videos make sense. Cause
Yes.
it's like the videos is like, okay, Abraham Lincoln's assassination, which is a really complex idea. Like you can think of it, but it's like, let's portray it and that's just how I think of things. I think of everything in analogies. But back to the topic at hand, it's like, I'm my worst enemy, you know? So learning to be better to myself.
Do you think back though to where you were to where you are now? That was actually one of the questions. Is how do you feel when you think back to that hard place and where you are now? Do you see the progression? Or are you happy about? You know, maybe you have your days where you're not happy, or maybe there's a lot of those days. But do you at least look at where you came from and where you're at and see the progress?
Yeah, I see the progress a lot. Like just as far as like mentally and just like where I am, because like you were saying, like, you know, when your son was like, I think about how sad my life is. Like I would tell my dad like I'm sad. He like, well, you got all this stuff. I got you the Xbox and this kid's in Africa who ain't eating.
I said the same thing.
And so I'm like, but I've never been like a material kid. You know what I'm saying? So like, say like even now, like even though like, you know, like I don't have to worry for a lot.
You got the Beamer. You were dancing on it. I was like, this dude, that's the BMW.
But even things like that, you know what I'm saying? Like I just love that car. You know what I'm saying? But like even say like, before that, it took me forever to buy a car. I had a 2003 Honda Accord. You know what I'm saying?
Car? Honda's a
Great,
car.
it gets me there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
That's
I didn't
about all Honda got to do. I'm gonna get you there. It ain't gonna be stylish.
People
Gonna be
watching this
flashy.
video are like, you had a car?
But like, you know, like I think about my ability to bounce back a lot more. I feel like I feel like I've become stronger at like resilience, like fighting those dark days. Like they still come, and like I think I need them to, I need them to learn the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Interesting.
because like if I don't know who I am in those worst times, then like how do I get any better at dealing with it? You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't know, like, oh, this is a really bad thought, how do I transform that thought into something good? I won't.
It's like
I won't
a
get
fighter
better.
staying sharp.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's my analogy for
Okay, everybody's the analogy king.
And it's not like I welcome the bad days, but
No,
it's
but-
like I realize that like they will pass. So like just let them come and go. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it comes in waves. Like if you talk to anyone that deals with like depression and stuff like that, like, you know, like it's coming in waves, or like I'm having like, you know, like a wave hit me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like think about like with a wave, like when it hits you, like you under it, and
Yes.
then you get back up. And
You really are great. That's an equally good analogy too. Because bro, have you been in the ocean with waves?
Yeah.
When you get slammed down, you feel like you cannot get back to the top.
Yeah.
And then you pull back. You're like, oh my god, that was like the first time I was in a really deep ocean with a really strong wave. It was like scary how powerful the ocean is. It's like pushing you down. Like you fighting to get back up, and you really can't. So flipping that to mental health, I can actually see that. You're 2 for 2 in the last couple of minutes with the analogies. Analogies by Demetrius Harmon. A little book. Merch idea, a little book. So actually, Jay asked a question that I kind of just want to follow up on. You said you don't remember the day. Which
does
I
this bother
understand.
you at all?
Bother me?
Yeah.
No.
I didn't know like if it blocked the view or anything like that.
No.
I always get like really comfortable.
I can
with
still
chairs.
see Kev. He's big enough.
Black people don't sit like that. You and Tony Baker can sit like that. I got bad knees. Jay got bad knees. So I want to talk about. You say you don't remember that day specifically, which makes sense. Do you remember the aftermath of like after that happened? Did you talk to your family about it? Did it open your mind to like, man, this has gone far enough. I need to do something different.
No, I didn't talk to my family about it until like, so my mom and my dad were going through it. You feel me? Like my dad's the financial
Provider.
You feel me? And so my dad, like they were about to get divorced. Like that's what it was looking like. And so my dad was essentially like, from my mom's perspective, what I can recall her telling me is like, essentially he was gonna like strand her like financially. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he pays the bills for the house, he pays for the car. You know what I'm saying? And she does she has the providing life insurance for us through her job, stuff like that. But like that's just always been the dynamic of their relationship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So with them splitting, it's like, what do I do in my life? You know what I'm saying? So like I'm in her room, you feel me? And like I'm going through the stuff I'm going through because it's just still like, this is just like another day for me. I'm just already sad, you feel me? My parents were just arguing in front of me. I'm just like, so she's in the bathroom and like she's in there a weird amount of time.
Yeah.
And like the door is locked, but like before I know the door is locked, I realize the shower's not running. So I'm like, what are you doing in the bathroom? So I just not out of curiosity, just knowing how I am. You know what I'm saying? Me recognizing the signs of like where I go to the bathroom because people leave you alone in the bathroom. That's the only place no one's gonna really like bother you.
Right.
That's the only place where you can like demand privacy.
Yes.
And so I knock on the door and then she don't respond. So then I'm
Freaking it.
So I start kicking the door. I'm kicking my mom's door, you know what I'm saying? And in my mind, I'm like, this is crazy. Like, looking outside of myself, I'm like, this is crazy. Because she gets mad at me and yelling at me, but it's like, I'm genuinely just concerned because I know.
Right. I know where your mind goes.
I know where my mind would go. Like, if I'm, like, because I'm at this age, I can pretty understand complex ideas of just, like, imagine working your entire life with, like, living, you know, building your life around this family and around a man, and then, like, where do you go from that? You know what I'm saying? You might lose it, and it's like, how do you start that over? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, like, in a sense, your life is over. Like, that specific life that you're living right now is over. And it's like, you don't even know where to go. So it's like, that's how my thought would be.
Right.
So then she finally answers, but when she answers, it's like, it's low. Like, it's like, yeah. And I'm like, can you open the door? She's like, no. And I'm like, Mom, open the door. So then she opened the door, and like, she was sitting there. She wasn't like, she didn't have a razor in her hand or anything like that, but like, it was very clear like that she was lost. You know what I'm saying? That she was like, I don't want to say she was thinking those things to put words in her mouth, but just like, I know I know that look.
You recognized it.
I recognize it, so I'm like, Ma, like, this is what I've been going through as a way of relating, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you're not alone in this, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is me being strong for my mom. And so I tell her.
Them tears are in the...
Dude, I know.
Swear to you.
Not burning.
If we didn't start laughing right now, them tears was like, hey, yo, we finna fall, and I just don't want to cry, man. I
But
don't.
no, it's a sad time because, like, then I tell her, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, she tells my dad, and I didn't want to tell him. I just told her, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I meant it for her. And there's this song called "That Power" by Childish Gambino, and like he's talking about how he told this girl he loved her and yada yada, and like she told everyone, and he was like, so I learned to just make the truth for everyone, like cut out the middleman, like everyone no one can expose me because everyone knows, you know what I'm saying? So like I felt like when I told her that and she told him that, it hurt me because it was like that was my secret. But then he came in the house and I'm already crying because I'm talking to my mom about it. He come in the house, he's like, why the fuck would you want to do that? And like that's his aggression, but it's like looking back at it now, it comes from him just being fearful that his child would have been gone, you know what I'm saying? And him not understanding it. But then in that moment I needed compassion, I needed sensitivity, you know what I'm saying? Which is something my dad like struggled with around that time. Just 'cause it's like you don't understand it. And it's like you fight to understand it, but you also just want it to be fixed. You don't want no one wants their child like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So then they call a family meeting the next day.
Black people, we love a family meeting.
I hate it.
We love a family meeting. Everybody, we got to talk about it. It does not concern everybody, but when it's big enough, family meeting right now. This will make it better.
And I hated
all
it.
talk about it as a group.
So I'm just sitting in the middle and we're just talking about how I want to kill myself. I'm just like,
but you're like, this isn't helping.
And so the thing is, like, whole time I'm like, this is not what I want to talk about. Like, even thinking about like, I think about this tweet. I mean, not this tweet, it's Facebook. Like, I used to think my parents hated me. Like, I used to just think like they didn't care about me and like stuff like that. Cause like I'm the fourth child of 3. I mean, I'm the fourth child of 4.
Okay, I was
and
like,
so
that
makes sense. But I have 3 brothers. You feel me?
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
so, like I just feel like the one that's youngest before me is 7 years older, and
Oh,
so I just
snap.
feel like they spent so much of their time like raising them and like their energy raising them that like when it got to me it was like.
yeah.
And then think about it, like I've had my clothing brand since 7th grade. You know, I've been I can do a lot of things on my own. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take much. Like I can do everything I want.
Yeah.
But it's like still I need love. I need parents to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? I want to be treated like a child while I can't. And so like I wouldn't act out, but I feel like just to go back to how you were saying, like there's signs. Like I tweeted. I mean, I put on Facebook. My mom got mad at me about something, and I was like, if my mom never wanted me, she should have got an abortion. They beat the out of me. But
They
like
just crack their knuckles like, oh, I'm gonna show you.
But the thing is, like when I said that, that's me not wanting to be here, reflecting and putting it on someone else.
Got it. Oh snap! That's
Dude, as I'm
this is so
listening,
much information that I have not
Considered.
I never considered it because it's not something I've dealt with, and or anyone close. You're the only person who I've ever even had a conversation with this about. This is our first conversation about it, and it's a weird thing to talk to people about. I feel like, or should it be? I mean, it is. Whether it should be or shouldn't be, it definitely is an uncomfortable thing, because we usually be, a couple of times you see it's at ADD, we're shooting. It ain't like, man, so tell me about your mental health, my brother.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I think to just go back to like the people I look up to when it comes to like those type of things, like like Kid Cudi or Donald Glover, like they're very open about the things. You know what I'm saying? I feel like say like I tweeted something about like not wanting to kill myself, but like something very sad. In like 10th grade year, like my friend came to me, he was like, "What was that tweet last night? What, you want to kill yourself?" And like when he said it, I'm like, no, but that's the truth.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But it's
something
like
you did earlier.
Yeah, that's
like, nah, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
saying stuff.
it's like I've learned that it's like I have the power to create this, like the narrative around this. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to be honest. In order for me to be honest with myself, I have to be honest with everybody. You know what I'm saying? If I'm lying to you right now, then it's like I'm lying to myself.
Yes,
I'm lying.
Because then you start to believe that those moments were in the past when they are in the present.
And it's like I talk about all the time. Like the suicide thoughts don't go away. You just learn to be stronger than them. You know what I'm saying? Like, or being like depression doesn't just get cured. Like I think one of the questions was like, how do you get rid of it for good? And you can't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just I've learned to live in the moment a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Like the good moments come and they go, and then the bad moments go. Like I believe in like the yin and yang philosophy. You know what I'm saying? To where it has to be those bad days for you to appreciate the really good ones.
Only way you can perceive beauty is through ugly.
Yeah, something got to be ugly. You know what I'm saying? Like
with people
it has
too.
to be.
Like,
it has to be. It has to be two. It has to be a negative and a positive. And so like
you can appreciate Idris Elba because of me. Like if everybody looked like Idris, they'd be like, we're all Idris. Have you seen the episode of the Twilight Zone?
No.
So there's an episode of the Twilight Zone where this beautiful woman's getting operated on, right? And they're doing a plastic surgery on her, and it's because she's ugly, right? But in that culture, everybody is ugly.
They look like pigs, right?
They look like pigs.
Yeah.
And she's the one outlier who...
She looks like a supermodel
She looks
right
like
now.
a supermodel right now, but she was considered ugly to them. So,
reality,
yeah. It's not as good as a Meech analogy, but...
That was a great
I
question.
did my best. I
Great
really
question.
wanted to be on your level with analogies. It was okay.
You know what is interesting is I'm hearing all these stories and where you've kind of thrown out like cries for help in your own way.
Yeah.
What I notice, and just in society in general, we make excuses. Like I think when people present things, I think we make excuses for why that's happening instead of just going, okay, let me understand why. Like if your parents are breaking up when you're 20, somebody won't be like, and you're upset about it. They're gonna be like, oh well, at least you're old.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't happen when you were a kid. Well, it's still affecting me now. Or your son. Saying I'm sad and be like, instead of being like, oh, well, let's talk about this. The first reaction is sad. Well, you got all this and this. Like we always give an excuse of why you shouldn't be. And, and everybody does it.
We definitely do
that.
that.
You're a man. Suck it up. Why, dude?
You shouldn't cry. You're young. You shouldn't be sad.
I'm just thinking about that as you're saying all this.
That's 100% true.
It's such a trip that I'm just thinking about everything. It's like, I remember when I was a kid, I think I was with my dad and a buddy of his was in the front seat, and I was probably 12, and I think I wanted to go something with a toy store or something with toys or something, and my dad's like, geez, he's like, and then his buddy's like, yeah, he's huge, but he's still 12.
Right.
He's like, I know he's like 6 foot, but he's 12.
Right.
It's a trip.
That's bliss.
Hello.
Huh? Okay, it's got a 15-minute wait time in it. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
My car?
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
That's my wife, Melissa.
Yeah. It's no, but going back to the excuse thing, it's just as I'm hearing all this stuff, and I'm thinking about my own experience, what Kev was talking about with his kids, and then when you're saying you've said certain things, and we always make an excuse why you shouldn't feel that way instead of, hey, why do you feel that way?
Why do you feel that way?
But see, the thing is like we do that with everything. Like I've noticed I do that in like relationships. You know, so
really
by mistake, like, and I've noticed and trying to get better at it. Like, you know what I'm saying, like coming to me and be like, I don't feel like you're attracted to me. And I'm like, well, you should feel like that because I do this.
Yeah.
Before even checking, like, why do you feel that way? You know what I'm saying? Like, we do it in everything, but I also feel like we don't realize it's okay to backtrack. You know what I'm saying? Like, even say like if I'm like you should, and then I'm like, wait, no, I'm sorry I said that. You know what I'm saying? We're scared to like admit our wrongs. You know what I'm saying? You make a decision and then you just keep going. You keep digging the hole. You keep digging. Even when you realize you're wrong, you're like, all right,
I'm gonna double down, triple down on this. Yeah, but even though it's obviously not the right way.
Yeah, and like I learned like in one of my past relationships, we had this thing where it's like you're not allowed to tell me you didn't make me feel this way.
Explain that.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
a white person trying to tell you about racism.
you can't tell me. You can't tell me like. Say if I got in the house and like, you said something to me and to you it's just a joke, but to me it really hurt my feelings. You can't tell me that you didn't hurt my feelings. You can say you didn't have intentions to.
Got it.
But you can't tell me that's not how I took it. That's not what it meant. You have to validate my feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm allowed to have those feelings. You know what I'm saying? So like, just learning those things. You know?
Right. You are wise.
Dude, I was just going to say, like 20 years old, I'm like...
1998?
What is happening? I'm like...
I'll be like Meech, tell me more about that. And also help me raise my kids.
Snatch the pebbles from my hand.
I feel like... I told you this before. Like, when you first had to show me your license.
Oh, yeah, I had to show my license because he didn't believe
I was like, dude, there's no... Because I'll fire on you. You ain't 19.
Yeah. I get the same thing, but, you know, it's a different reason.
So I wanted to ask you, because we're running out of time... your car's outside.
Okay.
But we have a couple seconds.
I'm gonna steal their water.
One with questions. Why do you hug people after your show? I've just butted.
I love hugs. Hugs are transference of energy, and I be needing them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Jay's a great hugger because he's like big.
Yeah.
You can just put your head on him. He's just like it's like hugging a grizzly bear.
I'm a great hugger because I'm skinny. And
I give you a big hug when I brought you. I'm like, bro, bring me in, cuz on me.
I'll wrap my hand around and then like rub your chin.
But like. I've been needing them hugs too. Like I had like a show.
I think that's interesting. I think you should say that again. Answer. No. You said I need those hugs too.
Oh yeah, I need them 100%. Like I had I was in what is it, DC? I just did an impromptu meetup at Howard. But no one knows is like probably like an hour before that I get a call from my mom and she's like, yeah, your brother might be going to jail for like 2 to 16. You feel me?
Oh snap!
And so I'm like.
How are you supposed to deal with that?
Now enjoy.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so like the thing is like I think people forget we go through real life things.
Yeah.
You know
Absolutely.
And so like I'm like I need a hug.
Right.
But it's like also just want to be around people that love me and they admire me. They're just happy to see me. So it's like I love being seen when I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Like with the times when I want to be invisible.
That is a benefit of the internet. If you need great energy around you can almost command it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And people will show up and hug you.
And it helps me, you know what I'm saying, like hugging them, but I see what it does to them. Because even at the meetup, I was being honest with them. I told them like what I'm going through, but I'm like, we can't just like those moments don't define like our day. Like,
bro, I be reading some of the replies to you. And I'd be like, yo, like and I think what you have done with your platform is so impressive. You have been so like outspoken and also careful with how you word stuff. And people be getting the tattoos and stuff. And like,
the tattoos are crazy to me.
Tattoos are crazy.
But it's like, it's hard. Like, cause I want to do like this is a Kev on Stage exclusive.
All right.
I'm still organizing it, but I want to do like a pop-up tattoo shop. Where people can just come in and get free tattoos and like it covers their like scars.
Dude,
that'd be hard.
That is such a great idea. Yeah. That is somebody will pay you for that. Not in the sense of like getting rich. Yeah. I mean like a company will sponsor that.
Yeah.
Because that is like, and you know, I don't mean to monetize it, but I'm just saying like that is such a good idea that people will get behind that. Or even a company, like people would support something like that. Yeah. And that's what I mean by your platform. Like you're thinking about that without thinking of this is not a hoodie, this is not a thing. Like I want to help people just because I've been there.
And
before.
they even say like with the hoodies, like the hoodies is like, yeah, we make money off the hoodies, but like we give so much back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we doing a Christmas giveaway, and it's like even when they're out, I just DM people. Like I always be like, tweet me. I mean, DM me if you've self-harmed, and I just try to. I don't pick them on purpose, but it's just like random, just clicking, and I just send them the code.
Really?
Of a free hoodie. Like we've sent like thousands of free hoodies. Just cause it's like
thousands.
Yeah, and it's like it comes out of profit, but it's like this is not for profit. This is to make you feel. That's why even when I reach out to you, I'm like, I'll send you something. You know what I'm saying? Just cause it's like, even if you got yours on, say if you only had two, like, you know what I'm saying, like. Your friend may want one, like give them away. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't wear them, like, I'd take hoodies off my back and give them to people. You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't have one in the car, like it's
I ain't gonna be cold for you, but I understand.
These are like comfort. You feel me? Like, I know what they do for me because I wear them on my worst days too. You know what I'm saying? Like I was talking with my friends, like when I was crying about the thing, and she was like, "How can you tell people you matter if you don't even feel like you do?" You know what I'm saying? And I'm like.
Josh is going through it over here.
But it's like
he's emotional wreck.
It's like I be trying to believe it myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I be telling people like I'm like this isn't just for y'all. Like this isn't me being on past this. Like I'm going through it too. You know what I'm saying? I'm always wearing these hoodies. Like if you see me wearing a hoodie, I'm wearing it because like I need it. You know what I'm saying?
And this
like,
is what I like the on the wrist. Is it on this one?
No, it's on the shoulder on yours. But on the wrist it says it's on Josh's.
I feel weak, but I know I'm strong.
And then that's something I wrote down for myself like a long time ago. Like I wrote that down when I was like writing down like affirmations.
I love you, Meech.
I love you too.
I really do. I love what you're doing. Like I mean, at your age, you can do so many amazing things because you have like, you know, I just wish the best for you. I really do. We are running out of time because Meech has to go. He's got another amazing appointment. No, the car just has a certain amount of time before they charge me. Is there anything you want to say to the people before we let you go?
If you're not a fan of me already, I hope you are now after watching this. And to all the fans I already have, I love you guys so much because it's, you know, I don't know if y'all know where I'm from, like from being from Detroit, like, and like I'm from Detroit and I lived in Dearborn, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I'm from Joy Road, like, you feel me? Like we from the hood. You drive down the neighborhood is abandoned buildings, and it's like, for me to be able to be this and like, you know what I'm saying? Like earlier I threw up Joy Road. You feel me?
I didn't acknowledge the gang.
At lectures, I be throwing up Joy Road. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm allowed to be so multifaceted, and it's like I know a lot of people who aren't.
Right.
And I have an audience that like really appreciates
every
version of me. You know what I'm saying? And it allowed me, because I feel like as people we're puzzles.
Yes.
It's not just one piece that makes us all. So it's like they allow me to be all these other pieces.
Yes.
And it's great.
It's awesome.
Just a gem. Just a joy to have. Just a bright part of our community. Bright spot in our community. This is Demetrius Harmon. If you would like to laugh, follow him at Demetrius Harmon, Demetrius HRMON.
Harmony without the Y.
Huh?
That's how I tell people to spell my name.
Oh, Harmony without the Y. Twitter, Instagram, follow him. He's a speaker. He's a poet. He's an author.
Artist.
I'm speaking that one to you. You've written.
Yeah, I've written.
Okay, I thought I knew it. And he's also a model. He's in better shape than me and Jay. But he's a great follow. So follow him. Amazing story. Thank you, Meech, for using your platform. Thank you for being a guest on Aska. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you next time. You feel me?